Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Cinema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Resafa.
This is the brand new game from Vladimír, Suchý and Delicious Games coming up at Spiel Essen in 2024, which is this year in just very few weeks.
It plays from 1 to 4 players in 1 to 2 hours.
This is a prototype pre-production copy of the game. Just so you know that when you see everything, this is not final. And we have obviously gotten it from the publisher. We have not went to the printer and stolen it. That would be a way worse way of getting it. And today we are talking about it to you because we have played it a few times and now we are going to review the thing. That is usually how it works here on this channel.
Thank you for explaining the process.
If you enjoy videos like this where we explain processes of how reviews work and also reviews and other things, then you can also do a thing for you, which is a thing where you click a button and then we get a number.
Yes, and that is click the subscribe button.
Yes.
And that gives us another subscriber.
Yeah,
That's how it works.
If you get anything of value from the video, then it helps us a lot. If you don't get anything of value, then you might not do it. But maybe we have other videos that's helpful. With all of that out of the way, let's talk about the actual stuff. Let's talk about Resafa. In this game, you are a merchant and you are trying to travel the land, sell your goods. You're going to travel with your little camel here. You even have rooms for different resources. He is going to travel all over here, get those resources, sell the resources. You can build up the canal so that the water will have places to go. You will build workshops. You will build gardens to make your workshops more beautiful. It's not a thematic game, but we don't care about themes, so it's fine. We are going to give you a brief overview of the things. I'm going to go maybe a bit more in depth than I usually do because this might be the first thing you see about this game. And if you haven't read the rulebook, I'm going to try to make it so that you get a feeling of how you play the game. The game is based around these 6 cards. All players are going to get their own 6 cards. They are the same up and down actions. These are actions, but the colors on top and bottom are going to be different from the different decks of player cards. On your turn, you are going to be playing one of those cards. I'm going to move this and I'm going to put up a play board so we can show you that. You are going to play a card, and the card you play will show you which action you can take and also which color action you can take. The color action does a couple of different things. It lets you move on one of the color tracks, which will give you cards, give you scoring cards or other abilities and helpful things throughout the game. You can also choose to take one of the bonus cards. There's going to be 3 of these laid out at the beginning of each round. So you will be able to choose those, basically an open draft. And those are more of a, I need something now. These are more for building up your actual engine or scoring. These are more helpful for getting stuff now.
Yes, and there's a total of 12 cards, 3 in each color.
Yes, and there's a last thing where you can take a sack card, which is basically a small bonus. Mostly, we have felt that you take that if you don't need anything from those special cards or those bonus cards and you farther in the game and I'm not focusing on that track, I'd rather have a little bonus. And then you are going to do your action. You can do those in the order you want. There are only a few different actions you can do in the game. You can build workshops. When you build a workshop, you pay the price for the workshop, you take the workshop and you place it. I'm going to use these as my tableau. So let's say, for example, I have built these 3 workshops. So when I build a new one, I'm going to take it and I'm going to place it there. In the beginning, only level 1s are going to be there and later level 2 are going to be there as well. These are going to be helpful when I choose to do the produce action. Because when I produce, I'm going to choose 2 of my workshops. So this is going to have 2 different ones. I can only choose one of them. And I'm going to choose one of the other ones to get the things that are on that. There might be conversions, points, camels. That shows me how many resources my camel can carry and all of those things. You also have the garden action where you are going to build either a small or a large garden and you're going to place it out between your workshops. Then you're going to get the bonuses that you connected to, basically. These green one, when those got connected to a garden, you're going to get that when I later build another one to complete the garden. Or basically whenever you build a new one, you're also going to get everything that that's connected to. Whenever you complete a garden, you're going to get a bonus as well, moving on tracks and also getting some points. We also have the trade action. I'm not going to go deeply into it, but basically you pay to move around. You will be able to build trading houses. You'll be able to sell resources, buy resources, Basically, there's like two special wares. There's the I'm gonna call it like spices and the vases. They're not what they're actually called in the game, but I'm calling them that today. And you're gonna use those, mostly buy one here and sell the same one there, and vice versa. And you will build up your trading post to get the special tiles that helps you score different things at the end of the game. Your camel is basically your herd of camels, so the tracker shows you how many you have. You're gonna be able to then place those resources you buy on there up to a maximum of that number. You also have the canal action where you're gonna build canal tiles costing brick and coins. Those are gonna be placed out here, getting you points now when you build them, and also points at the end of every second round. There's gonna be a water scoring. Also, when somebody builds somewhere where there is a water cube, that cube is gonna then fall down, or let's say the green player here wants it to go this way, so they will get the most points, but then also giving more points to the yellow player because you score all tiles that this touches again. The last action you can take is the basically do another color action. So here I would get like a yellow color action and then a color action of my choice. So either taking another bonus card, move on a track, or getting a sack card. Those are the only things you can do. And you are continue doing that 3 actions. Then the end of the round, you're going to do a couple of little things. After every round, every second round, there is the water scoring, as I said. And after 6 rounds, when you have played all 6 of your cards 3 times, you're going to do final scoring. You're going to get scoring for different scarab tiles. You're going to get scoring for how well you did, like how many points you have here, multiplied by your gardens, your workshops, and your canals. You're going to score for cards. You're going to score for final scoring cards. You're going to score for resources you have left. And you're going to score for how many canal tiles you have played. And that is basically like in very comprehensive, but almost everything you need to know to play the game. I hope that wasn't too much. I hope like it gave you a feeling of it. Longer than usual, but I wanted to make it clear because you might not have gotten to see it before. Cool. Let's talk about the things. It is a prototype, but we're going to briefly talk about the things you see with your eyes, and I'm going to be quiet.
Yeah, so I think the board looks pleasant. It's not like super vibrant. It has a nice amount of beige with the desert in the background, but it's clear the different sections of the board. And in addition to this main board, every player is going to have their little player board here, their little like tableau of workshop and gardens, and also it's a tableau of the colors that you can take for your color actions as well.
Yeah, so I will say like it looks like a classic Euro game.
Yes.
You're not going to see this and think you're getting something you're not getting.
That's
which
right.
I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
There is a rulebook. It is still a draft rulebook because it is a prototype, so they're still tweaking things. I will say that it is a good rulebook, and also the game is not that heavy. Like it is on the heavier side, like spoiler alert, it's not super light, but it's not the heaviest Vladimír Suchý game we played. And there's going to be a very little rules checking because the actions are very self-explanatory. All of the cost for the actions are on the board. It's going to be kind of simple to understand what you are needing to do. So I will say that the rulebook is very good. And it was, as I said, we didn't really use it. We used it a tiny bit the first time we played 2 people, but after that we haven't really checked it at all while playing, which I think is a good sign.
I agree. There is no player rate to the game. Mostly of the information that you need is on the player board and on the board. Explanation and like no explanation, like the
all the cards that are available.
All the cards are available. You can find on this sheet, which I thought was really helpful. So that was nice.
Yes, I agree. We have played the game 2 and 4 people, and it has taken us
90 to 120 minutes.
Yes, so like right after the bat, I am gonna say, I want to ask you a question. Did you like it best with 2 or 4?
I liked it more at 4 players.
Yes.
I think especially this area over here was more exciting with 4 players because there were more dynamics there, and also there was more fighting with the color action with the cards, and also more exciting moving on this track because more people are fighting for the same stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Like I would not be sad if I played it with 2 again, but if I get to choose, I would rather play it with 3, which we haven't played, and 4, which I think was better and didn't take like that much longer. So I feel like 4 was absolutely the way to go here. let's talk gameplay.
Yeah.
This game is, as I said, based around this card system. Tell me what you feel about this card playing system of the colors, the actions, the choosing of the things.
I like it. It can give me some AP because you're blocking kind of yourself.
Yes.
You're deciding kind of what you want to go for. You can also like go for a lot of variety, but if you're playing like trying to focus a lot on this, there's some actions that you will do less because you're choosing something over the other. I feel like this is very not inspired by, but very similar to the card playing Katnaora.
Yeah, I got that feeling there as well. You're blocking yourself more than you're blocking other players. Here you have the colors as well, so you have like a double reason to play something. And beginning of the game, when you just have these cards, you might get some bonus cards. You're going to remove things, and you're going to get bonus actions. You are going to be able to do each action maximum twice during like every second round. So when you're going to focus on something, you really want to get some bonuses to get you a bonus action or be able to do, like for example, here there might be ways, you get another building action. So you want to move up there, you get some points, you get a movement on the track, or you might be able to build a small garden without paying for it. So these kind of bonuses will be very helpful if you want to focus on something. And in these kind of games, I feel like you kind of want to do a little bit of everything, because in the beginning you want to build up some things and like I place these in a way, so when I place a small garden, which is very little expensive, 1 rock, 1 stone, I will get back 2 stones and a coin and a point. So it's very much that, okay, I want to trade that to that. It's not like my best action, but because I also get that movement on the track I want. And this is like the most interesting part of the game.
I really like that, and I also enjoy that you are only having 3 cards on your hand at all times. That takes down the thinking time a little bit.
And I like the fact, because there is only 6 cards, I'm gonna be in a position where if I draw 3 cards, I'm like, I really want to do that. Most of the time, you're gonna have one of the action you want to do. But let's say I really want to do the garden action, but I'm like, I cannot spend my produce action because I really need that, and I know that pretty soon I'm going to get that card. Hopefully in an order that makes it so that it's not horrible to me, and I really like that. The actions in themselves, I feel like are very straightforward.
Oh, I agree, and I think like you want there are good actions. You want to do everything.
Yes.
For example, building these workshops are, especially in the beginning, can be very important because you have so few resources, and that is a very easy way to both up your capacity with your common and also get resources, and make it better to then later build gardens to get more resources.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like all of the systems work well. I think the one I'm not wrapping my hand around, especially in a 2-player game, it feels very underwhelming, is the canal thing. Because all the other things are going to be probably points and resources, but this is of course like the big point getter together with this. It just like feels harder to go for, because you need that brick, which you need to like transform most of the time from rock to brick, and then you need to go here. So I felt like in the 4-player game, it happened because it's going to be a point where I'm like, I really would like that blue card, a bonus card. Let's just do a canal action. And I place that somewhere, and then somebody will be like, okay, but now I can try to place that so when the water goes down here, you would go over me to get to your tile. So in that dynamic of being more people, that happened, and then also I would be like, okay, then I could go for the heavy points, but then I might not get the bonus points. And for example, this is going to be a huge point getter, placing these water tanks. It's going to be like a lot of points for that, and that might be a point strategy that I just haven't been able to utilize, because it feels harder to go for than the other ones. But in the same way, like because this is like a more of a, I need the coins, I need to go there, buy the thing, that's one action, then I need to go there and sell it, that's 2 actions. The only good thing you get out of it is like 1 token that you might place to get you some points.
Yeah.
So this is like an easier way if you have like a way to get
if you have the way to get the bricks that you need.
Yeah.
But I agree, it feels less accessible, especially for new players, because you get very little besides points from that. Like gardens aren't a huge point scatter. You can score a lot of it here if you go for this kind of scoring, but you usually get more resources back in than what you spend. And this game can be really tight on resources, and then going there, especially because this is, I like it, but it makes me a little like on the edge. It's not that tempting to go for it, because the person who builds close to the water, like adjacent to a water source, gets to control the water, where it's moving. But in the instance you place it there, you know that the next time water is flowing, that's gonna flow. It's not gonna wait till the last turn. So you want to kind of build up the other stuff and then place the thing that triggers the water, but then all the other players can like build other routes to divert the water away from you. So it's I think it's a clever thing, but I agree it's harder to utilize with 2 players, and it's like the least accessible thing to go for, I feel like.
I really like the color actions.
Yeah, me
because
too.
They basically, like, let's take out the sack card, because it feels like a third-rate thing. It feels like the one thing you do if you can't get anything from the other 2. The color action then is basically, do I want that instant gratification of getting something now, or do I want to move on the tracks to get something that's probably better in the long run?
I like that balance as well, because these cards feel very powerful. It feels like if I spend, because you're spending 3 of these color actions, together you might get some like bonuses, movement here, but it feels really like worth it to get this, but it doesn't feel like it when you're there, because you want the instant stuff too.
And also in the beginning of the game, you're going to be like, oh, but this one stone is going to be the thing that actually gets me to do my action. So it's kind of that back and forth towards, do I want that, do I want this, which I think is very interesting. I will have to say, like, the final scoring cards, we used to say, basically I think it's like a heavy cardboard thing. If there is final scoring in the game, you should probably go for it. And I think that is something that is the truth here as well. Because the final scoring cards, if you go up to the top here, that's going to be a lot of points. Almost like all of the level 3 cards are going to give you between like 16 to 20 points or more. So it feels like if you play this with somebody, of course, we haven't played this 1,000 times, 100 times. We cannot tell you, like, this is our feelings when we have played the game, is that you should at least go for 1. You should try to go for 2. If you can go for 3, do it. But like maybe at least 1, maybe 2, I think is like an important part in getting enough points to win the game, because it's not like I'm doing this instead of doing other things to get points.
That's
do you
true.
agree with me?
Yeah, I agree, because like the color action is in addition to the other stuff you do, and I agree. And the scale, this card is worse than this card. They get better and better. The plot twist here is that not all of the cards are included in each game, and you don't know which cards are under here, so you can take the upper card here that's visible to all players and get a little bonus, or if you want to look through them to see if there's something else that's better for you, you're gonna lose that little bonus. Once a player reaches like this tire here, the next one is gonna be revealed, so that gives you a little bit of information on what's there.
There is an advanced variant where you can basically look at all the cards that go out of the game. I'm kind of like ambivalent, I should call that in English. I'm kind of like like this on that, because it then takes out then it likes either going to be a memory game, if you remember which were taken out, or you could just like have them out on the table, and then this doesn't make sense. Because like, then I know what the other cards are, I will not look for that. And in most of these, it doesn't bother me not knowing, because it's going to be something good. It's not going to be, oh, I can't use this for anything. And if there is only, like, if there's like 2 cards left, I'm going to be able to use one of them. That's not going to be a problem. Up here, it might be like, this is the most kind of random thing about the game, is the fact when I go here, for example, let's say it's pretty late in the game, if it's early, fine, I can work towards something. But if it's late, I was like, oh, get something for each of these cards you have. And the other one, like, it can happen that both of them are bad. But then again, I didn't rush for them. So maybe that's like the game's way of saying you should go there earlier than to actually have more cards to choose from. And most of the time, I think it's very on the. I'm unsure about that.
I agree, because I kind of like the suspense of like, should I just take this? I know what it is, or should I like hope that that other one that I know is really good is in the game this time? But these cards, I agree, there's more swing to it if I'm unlucky. If I build up like, because there's, for example, one that gives you points for the camels. Maybe I have 7 camels. That is 14 points. I'm hoping that that is there, and it isn't, and that's a huge bummer. But so that might be like you know that these are the things that are worth the most in this game. You know that up front.
But the thing is that I don't think you should do that. I don't think you should like go for camels and then hope it's a camel scoring card. So it doesn't really bother me in that way. It's just like on the edge of being like, oh, that was way better than the other cards. But it's not like when we looked at all the level 3 cards, for example, they're going to give you between 16, 24 points, something in that.
There's a lot of good stuff.
If everyone goes there, it's not going to like, that's not going to decide the game. So it was just something I was thinking about. I have to say, like, this is more straightforward than other Vladimír Suchý games we played recently. And I will also say, like, it doesn't have a lot of variability.
I agree. It feels more straightforward, and you have so few elements that you interact with. I don't mind that, but you're doing a lot of the same stuff every time, because everything also are important for each other. You need the resources that you get from here to build the gardens. You need the money that you, for example, get from the gardens and these workshops to be able to buy the resources you need to trade. And so a lot of the things go together, so you can't really like ignore half of the game.
Nope. And like there's a bit of like the interaction and all of that, but the core puzzle is what's going to make you come back to the game, to try to optimize that, maybe try to go a little bit of a different route. But it's not like this time I'm going to do this extremely different thing that I've done before. Let's talk a bit about the weight and who is this game for.
I think this is a medium-heavy game, and I think that this is like not his most complex game in rules, but it's still thinky and hard to master it and play well. And also, if you like beige euros, you might like this one.
Yes, because it's beige, and we like that. Let's do some final thoughts for Resafa by Vladimír Suchý. Do you want to begin?
Yes, I think this is a solid design. I expect a lot from Vladimír Suchý because he's a great designer. It's not my favorite of his, but I absolutely enjoy the things that I can work with here. My favorite part of the game is the cards that you play to do the actions. It feels really cool to do like a cool like move with both the action that you needed for the round, but also a color action. Moves me up here, get a card, do another thing, like this little combo-y feeling. It's really cool. And also these tracks to go for a little different thing each time is very nice. I'm going to give it a 7.5.
I like this game. The first time I played it, halfway through, I was unsure how much I liked it. So if you play it once and you're like unsure, play it again. Because it grew on me a lot the second time I played it. If we did like a video the first time I played it to the second one, it would be a different video. Because I was like, oh, but this is kind of, when I read the rules as well, I was like, this is kind of straightforward. You just do these things. But the combos is what makes it interesting. Trying to squeeze out as much as you can from each different action is what makes it a unique and interesting game. I agree with you. It's not the best Vladimír Suchý game we played. And the thing is, like, there's a new game from Delicious Game every year. Each one can top the other one. That's going to be coming to a point where that doesn't happen. I would still say it's still one of the better games I played the whole year, because Vladimír Suchý is a very good designer, and I've still like not played many of his games, like especially in the last 5-6 years, that I have not enjoyed. So I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's a great game. I don't think it's the best game in the world. But if you usually enjoy Vladimír Suchý games and you see this and you think this is going to be fun, I'm pretty sure you will enjoy it as well. And that is going to be the end of this video. We hope you got something from it that was helpful for you. And that's going to be the end. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.